Take off! It's time for Doug and Ben's Great NASCAR Adventure!
Greetings and welcome to NasCanucks, your weekly live NASCAR-based podcast with a Canadian spin. I'm Ben, he's Doug. This week we're discussing New Hampshire action, as well as SRX in Pevely, Missouri. One of the best dirt tracks I've ever seen in my life. More on that later. To lead off this week's show, recap the story we missed last Tuesday. For the first time I've ever seen in motorsports, tweet goes out, around 4 in the afternoon. Going, we're happy to announce Alex Palou will be returning to our car next year. With a quote from Alex. And then he commented on the tweet going, I didn't say that. And a couple hours goes by and McLaren F1, the big McLaren account, puts out, hey, we got Alex Palou driving for us next year. They didn't say which series because they're big on that. Mm-hmm. Apparently, that's how they sign everybody at McLaren is they dangle the test drive with the Formula One car to, maybe you can get one. You're like, I'm not getting one of those seats. You got Rossi and the other guy. You're good.
Yeah, so, it just happened that Palou didn't race this weekend in Toronto.
Yeah, he did.
Okay, I thought he was out. I thought I heard... Maybe they
and that was the thing. They lead off with it. They lead off coverage of the IndyCar race, which was only on Peacock in the U.S., but hey, on Sportsnet in Canada, with guess what? One commercial break. The whole race.
I tried to look for it. I couldn't see it.
It was on Sportsnet 360.
I looked there.
Yeah, it was on in the evening, Sunday evening.
So not live.
No, delayed, I believe. Yeah, because it was recorded, or at least the start of the recording was after the Cup race, because it was higher in my thing. Which, of course, during the Cup race, they're like, hey, congrats. I'm like, fuck you fucking spoilers. Don't do that. Yeah. Some of us record both the races, NBC. Yeah. Anyway, so, and so they lead off the coverage. Well, let's go right down the pit reporter talking with Alex Palou to get the scoop. What's up? Oh, we got a great car this weekend, and blah, blah, blah. And he just... took the long way around. So I think the lawyers are getting involved. Basically, Ganassi is going to be looking for money. That's the way it usually works. Think of when DW left Dygaard for Junior Johnson. Yeah. It cost him.
Yeah.
It cost him. So that's what's up with that. So, yeah. So Alex Palou was racing. For the most part. He got taken out. Which is okay.
I didn't get to see it
else last week, so payback.
Yeah, I didn't get to see it because apparently after the Rogers mix-up the other weekend, it doesn't want to record anything for me anymore.
Yeah,
it only likes pre-race stuff.
Long story short, you had 85 laps of them turning that course now at just over a minute a lap, which is crazy because for you to drive that course in traffic, it's going to take you about 20 minutes. Because you don't take going much more than 40 kilometers an hour, except for the one brief reprieve on Lakeshore Boulevard, which you can open it up like an Indy car till the cops do the whoop-de-whoops. So, but Scott Dixon with his 52nd win, which ties him for second all-time with Mario Andretti.
Yes. And during the Cup race, we did see the tweet from Mario Andretti.
Spoiler, yeah. Which was fine, and it sounds like I don't know how many wins AJ Foyt has in the series, but it sounds like kind of a Richard Petty record because they're like, there's no way anyone's going to catch that.
Yeah,
because I'm guessing that because they used to run a lot of races, especially with all the dirt races during the week, similar to NASCAR. What's up, Charles? What's up, Terry? So that brings us into weekend racing at New Hampshire. They didn't spray any Coca-Cola down on the track for grip or anything. They just said, screw it, let's see what happens.
Yep.
Shockingly, more than one groove. You don't need that crap. And it was good old school racing all weekend. Both races similar in that respect. I forgot. I love those tracks where the preferred line is kind of the second lane, and you get dive in and try to wash up. We saw it similar at Gateway this year. I kind of like that. I kind of like that. So I'm trying to think. The Xfinity race, we had some issues, I guess, between the
a couple. Well, like I said, I just got to watch the highlights. As like I said, Rogers only wants me to watch pre-race now. But so I had to watch the highlights.
There seemed to be a bit of a theme with Bass Pro Shops cars getting into other cars during racing action.
Yeah. My take on the Xfinity race as a whole was they didn't allow the spotters in.
No, not really. I don't know exactly where they're positioned on the track, but yeah, there was a lot of wrecks on the straights more than the corners all weekend.
And as we did talk off air as I was coming home here, that first wreck between Allgaier and Julia Landauer.
Yes.
Which the booth, and there was someone made a comment online that they said the booth seemed like they were really trying
to into them, blah blah blah.
Yeah, they were really trying to make Allgaier look like he wasn't at fault.
Yeah. No, he drifted up. Actually, I think he got loose and chased it up a bit, if anything. But yeah, he just used up all the track, regardless if there was a car on his outside.
Yeah, and then you come to see that she hasn't been in an actual full-size stock car in like a year and a half, 2 years,
something like that. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the first one. Then that was kind of like started the ball rolling with people.
And Allgaier had a very competitive car prior to that, and then after that, wasn't quite. And I think that's as much mental because the composite bodies, they didn't do anything to the car really. Mm-hmm. So it's a 1 mile track. So yeah. Other than that, just passing for the front, passes through the field. Josh Berry was on the pole, but he had to start at the back, and he had a plan. He was trying to make it to 15th by the end of the first stage, which he did, and then he kind of sat in there and eventually worked his way, because it is harder to work your way up once you get to 15th or more. Mm-hmm.
Then he had an issue where his spotter went for bathroom break.
Yeah. William Byron was in the race, getting some extra laps. Apparently, he had run up at Slinger, won the big race up there earlier in the week. Because, the new direction of Hendrick, where you can only run Cup. Now you can run whatever the hell you want. And you also don't have, they got rid of the memo where you have to shave, I noticed. Mm-hmm. Chase Elliott with about 3 days stubble, which you would not see that with a Hendrick driver till Dale came along, actually. Because they're just like, Dale broke the mold of Hendrick drivers in many ways.
Yes.
Yeah. So he was competitive for a while, and then he had issues as well. Related.
The one restart, he started up front, and all of a sudden he was like in the rear within like half lap, had a tire go down.
Yeah. Yeah, we saw a bit of that.
Then on the Barry wreck, apparently Steve Letarte is not good at measurement.
He's not good at a lot of stuff.
Because he said that the Ryan Sieg car went like about a foot or two off the ground.
Yeah. No.
No, that went
put a 1 in front of your guess.
Yes. Yeah, that...
he could have walked under that car and not have to duck.
Yeah. But...
That was a hard... That was Sieg, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Sieg, because he got in the back of Barry when Barry...
Yeah, and he's just like...
Barry actually came down, and then he came down, and Sheldon Creed just was like, I got my line, I ain't moving.
Yeah, there seems to be a trend amongst Chevy drivers this year with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then coming to the end of the stage.
Braxton impersonation.
Well, yeah, he got shown how to turn a guy properly by Mr. Hemrick. Coming to the final. I think what Noah was sitting 5th, I believe it was. 5th or 6th. and he coming into the turn, Hammer kind of put his front right into the door of Noah, and Noah kind of went for a spin, and that was that.
Yep.
No other carnage.
Yeah. So, who won the race? I always forget who wins the Xfinity race.
The guy that you said didn't have a good car after that first wreck would be Justin Allgaier.
Right. They worked on it.
Yeah. But we also talked about at the end of the race.
Yeah. It was his wife's birthday too.
Yes.
That's right. So he brought home a trophy.
Ty Gibbs didn't get the memo that you're not supposed to race hard when you're a few laps down.
Or a lot of laps, like 5 laps down or something like that. He was right in the mix to make sure Gregson wasn't going to win.
As we said, he was gaining fans by going after Gregson.
Yeah. So nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't much else of note really with that.
No.
Which brings us into SRX Saturday night, Pevely, Missouri. Local hot shoe, you might have heard of him. Ken Schrader was driving the multi.
Just a young guy. I think he's got a good future.
He's 68 now.
Yes.
I went, holy crap, because I always think of it as like 55. It's just one of those things. Yeah, he's 55. Yeah, he's 68, and he also was running the modified feature after the SRX feature.
I think you have a birthday shirt of his 60th birthday. Do you not?
I do.
Yeah. So that 55.
I think he's 55. Yeah, he's 60. Yeah. So, and I got that shirt about 8 years ago. Fun fact.
Yes.
Actually, I got it 6 years ago. It was a leftover.
Okay.
Anyways. Yeah. So Schrader was the local legend, as well as, we've been talking about it off air as well as on how much the TV's involved with the SRX series.
Yeah, and we got to talk about that off here, and we can talk about that a little more.
The series of racing's superstars, I'm pretty sure it's the TV network that insists Hailie Deegan keeps showing up, because she's not a superstar of anything.
No, and she had her issue in the feature, and I like when they cut to the radio, that radio communication. She was like, "Well, we weren't good after we pushed all the water out," and they were like, "Maybe."
No. Hey, hang on. We got to back it up first. She had an overheating issue because it was dirt, so she pulled it in. The crew was working on it for about 4 minutes, and they radioed to her over the radio. Is the temp coming down? And she says, no, because all the water's pushed out of it. And they're like, well, I guess we need to start adding some water to the system.
They even said to her, well, maybe you should tell us next time and we can put water in it like we did everybody else.
Yeah. I'm thinking, I don't think she's going to be back next year, even with the TV, because, those guys were just like, you are not a superstar. You are not aware. Meanwhile, half the field, these guys, so now that you're retired from racing, what are you doing? Oh, I'm building cars for people.
No.
Half the field could build those cars if they want. It's okay. Just give me some tools. I can fix it.
Yeah, because the look on the Elmore engine guy, once that was said, he was not impressed.
No. He was ready to take his motor and go home. You could tell.
Well, I think did someone even reach in the front of the car, and then turn it off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she was sitting there running it with no water in it.
Yeah.
I see all these interviews, Hailie, of you're in a shop with all this equipment behind you. Maybe you should look under the hood of one once in a while, or ask a question how they work. I hate drivers that are just drivers.
Mm-hmm.
It's like boy bands in the 90s. How'd they become famous? They didn't work in the bars growing up.
And I don't know if you want to get into it now about the whole TV thing with SRX, but I kind of heard something this week. It was this week here I was talking, or the end of last week. Was it this week or the end of last week? Last week. Friday, because Moody wasn't on because he was on his way up to New Hampshire. Mm-hmm. So they had a Skinner Roundup on with Mike and
Angie.
That'd be it.
As I remind you during the phone call when you couldn't remember her name.
Yes. And they were talking with someone was talking about the SRX and different stuff, and for the race in Florida that they had in Florida, there, which I know just that track.
Speedway. Speedway.
That'd be it. That they were going to try and have the two guys who now reside in Florida go at it and have a big clash of a return of these guys here, being Skinner and Hornaday.
All you're doing is attracting fans like us, though. You're not attracting any new fans
Well,
for that.
They couldn't get the TV contract done with them because the contract is not with SRX. Contract is with the TV, and they decided that having Bill Elliott run and Chase just appear was better for TV than having two
former Truck Series guys
or greats of the Truck Series,
Yeah.
superstars of the
two greats of the third tier series.
Well, still, right?
Yeah.
So as much as we say the SRX series and Don Hawk and Stewart and Everingham run that show, I don't think they have much say in what actually goes on in that show.
Like
I think that's all CBS.
We had that conversation, and then a day or two later, I'm watching a non-superstar being called a superstar. Also, lack of indie involvement this week because they're all up in Toronto. Because apparently, when we were growing up, IndyCar drivers are like Formula One drivers. They were retired by the early 30s.
Yep.
Anymore, because Helio and Tony Kanaan are our age.
Well, Kanaan was in the race.
Oh, sorry, Kanaan was. Helio wasn't.
Yeah.
And Connor Daly wasn't in the booth because he was busy running 20th hole race in Toronto.
Yeah.
Holding up the field. Oh, there was a big lineup behind him. You'd think it was Haley Deegan out there. Woo! So we had Willie T.
Oh my God! Can I fast forward him talking?
Oh no! Where's Willie segment? He was at a mammoth museum, and he had to show off the toy mammoth. Oh, I'm going to carry this everywhere I go. It's going to be in my back pocket everywhere I go. And Bess was like, "You better not sit down, then." I was just like, "When's Connor back? One more week, okay, one more. All right."
Yeah.
So we had Schrader, we had Haley D, we had 13 cars again, because apparently Matt Kenseth's sticking around.
Yeah, so, apparently, yeah. Same with Newman.
And Newman. Oh, Newman's been there the whole season.
Yeah.
But Kenseth, he's a late arrival. And where's Bill Elliott? He gone. he's I don't do dirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But man, Peevely was great. Multi-lanes, slide job, which, for an equally prepared car, it really put it in the driver's hands, and you saw a lot of passing. Like,
well, you got to wonder how
finished like second in the first heat, and then him and Tony were in the back row for the second heat. Schrader kind of worked his way up to about seventh by the end of that heat, but Tony right up to the front.
Yep.
Which was great to see.
You got to wonder how Marco Andretti felt those last few restarts where he's up there with Stewart, Schrader, Kenseth, Newman.
And the trend continues.
Mikey to a degree.
Open wheeler apparently is looking at doing some Xfinity races next year.
Okay.
Apparently Marco is really interested in going Xfinity racing. I was like, you should have talked to your dad about that about a year ago before he decided to enter into Formula One, because he could run all the Xfinity races for the cost of a single Formula One race.
Exactly, yeah.
And you can have a gift shop. You don't have to have it in an armed compound.
Yeah.
Hey, what concept? So, but yeah, apparently Marco is really digging. He's going to probably do some other maybe late model racing and stuff this year, and once again, it's some Xfinity. So maybe we'll see a two-car tandem of Helio and Marco.
Well,
next year.
Well, does Marco go into the 42 and race for his old uncle's team?
That's a question, because more on that coming up in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So, so Tony Stewart won the feature at Peevely, which was great to see. Schrader was gone right away because he had another race to run.
Oh yeah, he had to go to the modified.
Yeah, he's running the modifieds.
Why would you only run one race a night? Really?
That's true.
When you can run two.
I'll answer that text later. Anyways, Someone forgets I have a show on Tuesdays. Anyways, so Tony Stewart won. That brings us into Sunday. Sunday. I was wondering, how much shifting are we going to see? Because we shifted every track. The story that they mentioned early, hey, once tires wear, it might be shifting as low as third. Nope. I don't think that ever happened during the race.
One time, I think it was it Amarola? He only had third gear at one point.
He didn't mean to do that, though. He pulled a Denny. Apparently, Ross Chastain is still persona non grata. People had no problem using him up throughout the race, and he just took it because he knows he's got it.
At a few points there.
Well, it was funny because Jeff Burton, my God, he is the mayor. He's so much smarter than anyone else in that booth, I swear, because somebody get into Chastain, or like a little extra payback, and it's like, well, why is he doing? Dale will be like, why? He's like, well, because he's been on the track with Chastain all season. The whole field doesn't like the guy.
Exactly.
What part do you not understand? You should understand this with your guy in the 9 car in your series.
Yep.
Nobody likes him.
Mm-hmm.
So he got used up a bit here and there, which was kind of nice.
And I noticed
did not have to race
near the end, him and Denny were running very close with Chastain trying to stay well away.
Yeah, which has been a theme, 3 weeks in a row now?
Yeah.
Well, it's like typical. They always point out, when you have a rivalry with someone, you always end up, you're going to be in the truck with them, going around the parade lap. You line up next to them qualifying. You're going to be racing against them all the time. So, yeah, I know. I'll answer you later. That's fine. Jesus. Phone's blowing up. Anyways, try to think if we did, again, spotters were kind of MIA at times. We had some clarification. The black and white rule of losing a wheel is now a completely gray rule up to the discretion of NASCAR, which you might as well just be the SRX series with your fun flags.
Yep.
So they're kind of looking at, we're going to kind of let it go on pit road, depending on if it impedes anyone on pit road. It's like, what? Is that like running a stop sign accidentally, but there's nobody around, so you get away with it?
Who lost the tire this week on pit road?
I
forget now.
It was a rear tire.
Well, I thought it was funny because I even forget whose pit crew it was, but they showed a picture of them like standing there. All of a sudden, this tire comes rolling up between them on against the wall, and it just kind of stops. And they're like, "Oh, there's a tire here."
Yeah. I thought it was Austin Dillon for a sec, but no, he was the one who got tagged by Harvick in the pits.
No.
Which Harvick, granted, Kevin, you're trying to prove me wrong.
He was, we're not going to talk about the elephant in the room with the pole sitter and the first 2 stage winners, but.
You mean I kept thinking, man, Kyle Busch is doing good this week.
Well.
Like it's the number. It's just one little line that's different. That's it.
I showed on the show last week.
I know, and that still means nothing. Like that's been on the 18.
Even Letarte was saying that every time they look back to the pace car, he thinks it was Kyle Busch.
Yep.
But no, Truex was running good. Like and
that 2-tire stop was his undoing.
Yeah, because he wasn't talking on the radio, which means that he's going to be fine.
Yep.
But
that 2-tire stop, for whatever reason, it just didn't agree with that car. And I get it. There was only 12 laps on the lefts. It makes sense, but, or you could have been worse and just, hey, let's save a set of tires in the pits, Kyle Larson. We'll just gas and go you.
You had to be out front because when you were in dirty air, you were just absolute crap.
Yeah.
Right? And just being on the pole and having that number 1 pit stall, he was able to be out front all the time and get that jump. Right?
Yep. And we will say there was some different strategies at the end. There were some guys that stayed out. Holy crap, Kurt Busch rallying back to 13th.
Yep.
In only like 30 laps. He was just running people down, which is, a nice rally to see.
Yep. And still, if anyone out there knows just what the beef was between Dylan and Keselowski.
Yeah.
Let us
Oh,
know,
no.
because the teams didn't even know. The teams still don't even know.
Yeah, the team. Yeah, the crew chiefs didn't know. The spotters didn't know. Apparently, only the drivers know.
Yeah.
Because the broadcast, because it was at the end of stage one, all of a sudden they're all getting into each other and like, what happened? And the boys in the truck are backing up the tape. They're like, we've looked at all the cameras.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like a couple races ago when they only apparently had one camera for the whole race.
Yeah. And then they talked to Ty Dillon after the race, and he was like, well, he's been racing me like that all year. And it was like,
Has he?
nothing.
Yeah.
Like what? Like racing you how?
I think Austin's just trying to drive up some drama to keep his ride and keep his TV show on air.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, you got the TV show, right? So
Austin Dillon, My Life, One Lap Down.
yeah. Bring on DEI.
Yeah. So, was it Elliott win the race? No.
No.
Yes? No.
No.
No. Oh, no, we had another winner.
We had another winner,
That's right.
which now puts Truex on the bubble, 68 points above.
Yeah, the 20 car.
Yes, Christopher Bell.
I got to eat some words on that one after last week's debacle, with the tire chair. Both he and Bubba Wallace, because Bubba finished third
Yeah, finished third. Yeah.
at what he considered one of his worst tracks. So
Yep.
both teams, vast improvement, clearly.
Then it turned into does Christopher touch the lobster or does his wife hold up the lobster?
Well, because his wife apparently has the testicles in the family.
Barely.
Because he's all, and she was just laughing at him in Victory Lane, like because she's doing the number one, and then she kept doing this. And
Yeah. But you know what? When you look at him, you forget that he's 26.
Yeah.
He looks like 18.
Yep. And clearly, the first time ever holding a lobster growing up in Oklahoma. Not a lot of lobsters in Oklahoma.
No.
Nope. So yeah, 14th winner. Ryan Blaney was asked going into the race. He's like, you're going to need to win, and that's someone who's basically second in points if you take away the wins.
Yep.
So he definitely will need a win. I think even Martin said the same thing. He needs a win.
Well, going in the race, he said, "Oh no, we're going to be fine. We don't need to win. We're going to be fine. But you're going to need to win."
You're going to need a win, especially since the last race before the playoffs is Daytona, and anybody can win that. You're just as likely to have a first-time winner as you do a repeat winner, and you only have to be in the top 30 in points. And I know you don't like them, but a certain Daytona 500 winner is lurking about 18th, 19th in points. I noticed his name, it just hovers in and out of the screen there, right?
Yeah.
And so,
Harvick is the next car.
Everything into Daytona for that guy.
Harvick is the next car behind Truex.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. And Harvick has won at Daytona.
Yes, he has. I think.
A couple times, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Like once with Childress and once with Stuart Haas, I want to say. Could be wrong.
So, yeah.
So, interesting. And we're getting down to crunch time because that's going to be what? Another month? We'll be into the playoffs pretty much?
So, yeah.
About a month.
So could we have more than the 16 winners?
We could.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, especially because we're coming up. We got Pocono coming up, and that's a track like Harvick's good on, Hamlin's good on, Ryan Blaney.
Yep.
Yes, 33. Yes, Ty Gibbs will.
Ty Gibbs will be in the Xfinity. He will not be. Kyle Busch will be staying in the 18. I think it's all a bunch of hogwash that they can't find a sponsor. Can't do this. I think he's just waiting. That's my guess on this.
Yeah,
they're just kind of keeping things quiet. Just because we know from inside knowledge with Gibbs is that they like their sponsors of all four teams, of all of their teams, to be intermingled.
Yeah.
Yes, M&M's will be out because they probably went and are not dealing with FedEx anymore, but it's because with Gibbs, they're all like I just said, all there's one like FedEx will deal with interstate batteries. They have a kind of deal with that there, which they also have a deal
There's
with.
a lot of business to business stuff.
It's a lot of that's how he works all his sponsors out. So I think that's how that's going to be. I think Kyle's going to be staying there. I think he'd be he'd be dumb to move, but I think he'll be there till the end.
Although it'd be a huge thing, all of a sudden the Bush brothers are both running for 2311.
Could be that, but I do think that as I'm not sure if it's your first time watching the show here, but that will be next year. Martin will run the 19. Martin will be out of the 19. Ty Gibbs will go in, and Martin will be going over to the 8 car for DEI.
Yeah,
that's how that's going to go.
My prediction and elaborated on it. We were talking about it off air.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
So, which he's now probably going DEI. Like that was done a while ago, but it's DEI 2.
We have a feeling that Dale Jr. is looking to purchase RCR.
Yes.
As Richard is looking to retire. So
and then that will bring the 3 and the 8 back into DEI 2.
So we had some news going into the race weekend. Hey, there's Bent Tom.
Well, and a couple of things. Well, a couple of things going into that. There, are you talking about today's news?
No, news going into the race weekend.
Yes,
which was I got to revamp something that I was doing last year, which is where's Ty Dillon? Because he's out of a ride at the end of this year.
Yes,
it's been announced that Petty GMS is going to be going in a different way. Now, GMS, they own teams in all 3 series, or is it just Cups and Truck?
Well, they used to have Xfinity. I can't remember now if they still got Xfinity.
Right.
But anyway,
I'm wondering, do they have a driver that they want to move up?
Well, I'm hearing it could be Gregson.
Yeah, I could. Well, he's got one of the longer tenure. Like he's the Chevy. Like he seems to be some kind of Chevy factory driver of some kind.
And he's been going up, and he'll be racing again this weekend for Colin,
right?
Yeah, at Pocono. But
there's something up there. Like he's getting a lot of chances. I don't know why.
So, and that's why I kind of said before about Marco possibly going into the 42 to kind of. I know his uncle was in the 43, but just kind of then going back into the Petty fold.
But I don't think he would go straight into Cup racing.
No.
He's really interested in doing Xfinity.
Yeah, and the other news that came out last week that involved a Cup driver is a guy who I guess no longer wants to be non-controversial, being Kyle Larson.
Okay.
Coming out and saying that he will not be running the Chili Bowl this year.
Oh.
Because they do not pay enough for him to win it. So he will race there if they bring up the purse.
Right. It's not worth it to him. I'm trying to say nostalgia, but that's not the word I want to use. But just the Golden Driller Trophy is just not enough. There's not enough history in that trophy. He needs the money. Well, plus he's already won it, hasn't he?
Yeah. So it's now nothing to him. He just wants
the
money. And he thinks that because and that shouldn't be enough to the up and coming drivers that are trying to go to it as well. But yeah, so there's that, and then him and brother-in-law Brad Sweet then turn around and start off their own 12 race midweek high paying dirt series.
Yeah. Don't call it SRX, strictly under.
Yeah.
Open wheel SRX.
Which
then you gotta wonder go to Richmond a lot. That's cool. Doesn't like the fact it won't be under the lights this year. I kind of prefer the day races at Richmond myself. The track's a little slicker. I kind of prefer that myself. I get it.
I do remember when I tried to get us to Richmond, but we couldn't get camping near there. So
no, not even close to there.
No, I had to wait. I'd been on a 5-year waiting list.
Yeah. Well, probably get sites now the way things are going.
Probably, yeah.
Anyways, so news today. I guess we'll get to today's big news.
Well, that we talked about a couple weeks ago
We did.
and said it was going to
Now
happen.
official, the city of Chicago is going to be hosting a street race under a 3-year contract, which is hilarious. Already Twitter's, oh, they're going to do it once and that'll be it. It's a 3-year contract, and they will be replacing Road America. Mike Joy had a comment because he, born and raised in Chicago. Excuse me. Love to see the Cup Series as well as IMSA Series is going to be the support series.
Yep.
Which makes sense. I like it. A whole bunch of full-fendered cars running the streets of Chicago. Why not? He liked the idea, and they're trying to get into a new market again, but more a new demographic than a new market.
Yeah. And on the way home from work, I was listening, and they had the press conference on Sirius XM.
Yeah.
And then once that was done, Moody then opened up the calls, and then it became how many people can deprive their village of its idiot by calling into the radio and not out enjoying.
Well, and this is the thing. I noticed like Bob Pogros was fielding a lot of those tweets today.
Yeah.
And like someone said, why is Bubba there? Well, much like Formula One, Bubba has a bit of a TV show there on Netflix thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Similar to Austin Dillon.
Yeah.
I think Austin Dillon's is on USA, mind you. But, Bubba's got the Netflix thing. And guess what? It's not us watching it.
No.
Just, which is 50-year-old white guys aren't the only people watching. Because they were saying, we keep seeing all the other series are seeing what's happening with Formula One. They started doing the Netflix stuff. Now all of a sudden they got all these young people watching it.
Yep.
Hey, wow, you just found a whole new generation of race fans. Don't screw it up. And so as such, they said basically Bubba Wallace has one of the higher name recognitions in the series that doesn't necessarily equate stats per se. You figure Chase Elliott, most popular driver in the series, but probably not the most well-known name outside of NASCAR.
Well, and
unless people are like, is he related?
You've also got to look at his sponsor, the car that he drove around Chicago today.
McDonald's.
Where did McDonald's start?
California.
I thought it was Illinois.
No, California.
Throw it out the window. Anyway.
But that's the largest fast food retailer in the world on the hood.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically, it's that Wayne Gretzky-ism, right? Like name a hockey player, everybody knows Wayne Gretzky, and they assume he still plays to this day.
Yeah, and not to play that card, but it's your inner city, not really inner city Chicago, but you look at the demographic in Chicago. I'm going to put Bubba out front. Yeah. But then you have some other people calling in, as always calling in.
Not to mention,
why are they running? Why are they running a street course? Because NASCAR wasn't started in the streets; it was oval tracks.
Except it was started on the roads.
Yeah, I had no idea that the Moonshiners all lived on oval tracks.
Yeah, they weren't racing around cul-de-sacs.
No. Right, and then as Moody also said,
I thought it was funny. Somebody mentioned that too. They're like, "Well, why is Bubba there?" They're like, "His car owner's rather iconic in that city." And they went, "Yeah, who could forget Denny Hamlin winning the 2015 Tropicana 400?" I went, "Touche!" That's a good comeback. But MJ.
Then another guy calls in and says that they shouldn't do it on a street course. There's enough freeways around that they can make it an oval on a freeway. But if
you can do that, just do the Chicago Loop. They got the famous loop there.
Well, yeah, and then as Moody said, well, where are you going to put people watching on a freeway? There's not places to watch on a freeway.
Yeah.
But then the other thing that someone called in that I didn't know about, and you may not know about, that Moody didn't know about, and maybe some other people in the chat don't know about, is that just outside turn 11,
yes,
1 block from turn 11
Yes.
is the start of Route 66.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting.
So they were saying NASCAR has come to the mother road, I guess, as you could
Yeah.
call
Yeah. Somebody said they
it.
shouldn't put barriers outside of turn 2 because if they overshoot the corner, they'll just go right into Lake Michigan.
Yep.
I was like, well, we used to do that in Monaco.
So maybe if they're that close to Route 66, maybe the Lightning McQueen car will come back with Kyle Larson.
Good. Well, Pixar, you got a year to ramp up the next Lightning McQueen movie.
Yes.
Saying whatever you want to do.
But yeah, I thought even Moody thought that was kind of cool that they're that close to Route 66.
Yeah.
And it's almost right.
If we want to attend that race, we do have friends in the Chicago area.
We do, yes.
Yeah. My guest from Sunday night lives half an hour south of Chicago.
And I have
a hell of a trek because the race is at the north end of Chicago. Dairy Queen, right? Start in Joliet, Illinois, which is right in Aaron's neighborhood, pretty much.
Yeah, and I from my other show, I've had plenty of people on from Chicago as well, so
we're covered. Yes,
we could do it.
Yes. I don't know if there was any other announcements.
No.
Oh, I guess a nice bit of news. After his win at Mid-Ohio, Parker Kligerman has been fielding a variety of offers from both Xfinity and Cup Series teams, apparently.
Well, and as we talked about last week, he's been wanting a full-time ride in the Truck Series, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, there's that. But
other than that, we got 1 week left in the SRX Series. Where are they running? Eldora?
Could be.
Or Knoxville?
Have they done Eldora yet? I don't think they've done Eldora yet.
They haven't done Eldora yet, so probably Eldora.
Yeah, because I don't think because NASCAR does Knoxville, I don't think they would do Knoxville.
Right.
Because the trucks do Knoxville.
And they don't do Eldora anymore.
No.
After last year.
Actually, one other thing I did hear, I believe he's running this weekend in the Truck Series, and then one other one coming up. But for the Friesen Hallmark or Hallmark Friesen, whatever team that is.
Right.
Tay Riggs will be driving that car. You're thinking, I've heard that last name, son of Scott Riggs.
Right.
Will be driving in the
Truck Series. Late models for a couple of years now.
Yep. So he'll be driving for them in the Truck Series in Pocono this weekend, and another one coming up that
in Jessica's truck in the 62.
I'm guessing yes.
Cool. Tom with all the food trivia. Awesome. Well, there we are. Good tight show this week. I can't think of anything else we need to cover.
No. So we've just got what? We got ARCA Friday night. We got Trucks and Xfinity on Saturday.
Where are they racing? Where?
Pocono. Remember I just said
right.
that Tay Riggs was in Pocono this weekend?
Are they doing it? They're not doing the double header again, are they?
No. So like I was saying,
okay.
ARCA on Friday, right. Trucks at noon Saturday start.
Sure.
Then because there's no lights at Pocono, then it's the Xfinity in the afternoon, and then Cup on Sunday.
Nice.
Pocono, another track I tried to go to, but I had to buy.
They don't like us for whatever reason.
No, and it took me a while.
I was just thinking, I heard a story about Pocono. Nice, Tom. I don't know if you caught some of the highlights from Dale Jr.'s show last week. He had Tony Uri on again, Jr., which was great. I didn't know some of the stuff, but they were talking about Pocono, and he had. Oh, yeah, it was apparently Tony Jr. We can blame him for coil binding. He's the one that started the whole coil binding thing, right? And because he was running on the 15 car, because there was all that drama at DEI that year.
Yep.
And Michael's out there just dominating at Pocono. We got to that point, and Dale Jr.'s 2 laps down and just, terrible. And before the race, Tony Sr.'s like, you got to share info. And he's like, I'm not sharing everything because all those guys are taking off after this year. Like he saw the writing on the wall and he didn't want to share. So finally he said to his dad, he's like, here, that's the spring I've been using all year. And if you watch the race on replay during one of the cautions, you'll see Tony Eury Sr. running down pit road with a spring in hand. And they decided to change that spring under caution. But the deal was they undid the shock on the first pit stop and then, go around, catch up to the field.
Yep.
Well, you may recall pit road at Pocono is kind of like a motocross field.
Yep.
It's got some whoop-de-doos. Do that with no shock on your right front. Junior's is just purposely. I'm looking at the sky. I'm looking at the ground. I'm looking at the sky. And they're telling him to hurry up, and he's like, I can't. And then he goes in the corner, just rolls right over. And as only Junior could tell, I'm like, I'm just picturing, because that's a rough pit road.
Yep.
So, everyone should check that out. They had some fun stories for sure, including talking about the negotiations at DEI. Like Junior's going, or Tony Jr.'s going, there's no way Teresa's going to give him 51%, and he figured she's going to put such a number on it that, there's no way Dale could ever afford it. And his response was, afford it? I was expecting her to give it to me for free. And then they punch it. And Mike Davis is just like, you're an idiot. There's no way Teresa was going to give you 51% of DEI for nothing just to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
So we should, Tom. It's about 5 hours away from me.
But again, they wouldn't sell me a campsite. I had to buy a ticket in the grandstand.
To go along with the campsite.
Yeah, and well, they wouldn't even sell me a damn campsite. I tried and tried and tried.
Yeah. I know people that used to camp there, so. Am I still friends with Chase Mattioli on Facebook? Maybe I can hit him up.
No.
I think he's basically taken over the track now. Or did they sell it? No, they sold the track.
I think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, there we go. I don't have anything else. Do you have anything else?
I got nothing.
Okay. Well, on that note, he's been Doug. I've been Ben. You've been you. If you're new, please subscribe to the #1 NASCAR podcast live on YouTube every week.
From Canada.
I hope that's so.
Oh, you waiting for me?
Yeah, because we'll use the car this week. I'm actually teed up for once.
Okay. How's that guy not burn his hand?
I don't know. Pay attention. Watch a guy burn his hand on the valve cover.
See you, Marcus.